afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Ballydorn Farm with me, CWATTYESO, here on this Sunday afternoon as we get into a bit of Sunday afternoon farming. First thing I want to say, obviously, is I am sorry about yesterday afternoon stream. I didn't realise that I had to play taxi service. Wow, we have got weeds on our grass field. Interesting. Might have to get the old mower out. Helgi been doing some ploughing and stuff. Mr. Helgi was on yesterday. Looks like he's done some ploughing and stuff. I thought he was doing a contract when I logged out. I logged in briefly again last night just so I could grant him permissions and stuff. So obviously he can do all the different things on the farm. Because he sent me a message on Discord saying there's not a lot of point in me playing if I can't do contracts. And I kind of thought to myself, well, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. There's plenty of jobs to do without running off and doing contracts. Because, you know, we've just started on this map. There's plenty of field work to do for ourselves first. So, looks like we've got some stuff in the bag. Now, what I'm wondering is it's not going to show me the finance screen just yet. Okay. No, he's done the ploughing. That was originally, that's what I'd logged in today to do. I was going to plough the fields that needed the ploughing doing. And I was going to do those. So I'm just wondering now what I am going to do in today's stream. Could maybe do some seeding now we've got fields planted. Although it looks like, to me, this field has not been fully ploughed. Now what I'll do is I will plough this field, but what I will do as well is put the plough on the right way round. Because yesterday I did notice I was ploughing with the plough on back to front. Which is perfectly possible with this implement. I must admit, I did brief, and like I say, I was toying with the idea yesterday, because if anyone did catch the brief little stream I did yesterday afternoon, before I sadly got taken away from the office, I did toy with the idea of maybe trying to see if I can remove some of these hedges in between some of these fields, because they're a bit annoying in some places, because you can't actually get to the fields. You go down a path between the fields, you reach a dead end, and there's no gates. So it's like, well, hang on a minute, how do I get into the field? And then there's a couple of fields on this map that have gates that really don't need gates because they're wide open on one end. I think I showed you that. Like this field opposite me, field 28 over there. Is it field 28? I think it's field 28. Yeah, field 28. That is weird, because you come down that path and there's not a gate anywhere on that path that lets you do the like harvesting stuff. But lets you get into that field. They're like for example, if we go back to the map quick. So I went, there's like a road down here to try and get into field 28. So I ended up driving down here. I then took the little road past field 29, down here, come all the way around here to field 28, no gates to get into field 28. I went into this contractor's farm area, couldn't find a gate anywhere. Turns out you have to come all the way down here and through this little built up area a bit to get into fields 28. So I'm thinking to myself that I'm going to end up... And the only thing that put me off doing any like terrain painting and alteration yesterday was the fact that this map doesn't actually have paintable grass. So if I get rid of the grass, we're just going to have flat, boring green textures. We'll get this ploughed and we'll have a look at the map. One of the things I did forget to kind of mention yesterday when I did briefly log in last night, I forgot to mention it to Mr. Helgi, because I noticed again pretty much straight after I logged in, I granted him permissions to do obviously to do everything. So when he's logged in, he can do what he wants. He immediately fast-forwarded time. And I'm thinking to myself, ooh, might just want to be a bit careful fast-forwarding time. Especially while there's jobs to do on the farm. Because you could end up in a situation where you've then got a load of fields to harvest yourself. Kind of thing. And we do have crop withering turned on, remember, on the server. Crops can wither and die, so you don't want to get too trigger happy fast forwarding time. We're trying to keep the clock at 3 times speed, which should hopefully give players a chance to do everything, as well as keep the days progressing forward. But like I say, you've just got to be a little bit careful about sleeping through nights and fast forwarding a bunch of hours, especially until you work out, until you've played on the map a little bit and know at what time it actually gets that dark you can't see, and at what time it gets light enough that you can, because you only want to be sleeping and advancing the minimum amount of hours. You don't want to be sleeping 12, 14 hours of the day away. You probably only want to be sleeping probably 4 hours. 6 at most. Maybe midnight to 6 AM should be the sleep hours on the map. Up until midnight you can still definitely work. Get this done. I might do some... I might need to mow the weeds then. I might need to mow the grass fields to get rid of the weeds. Probably going to have to plough them as well, looking at the map. It's something I can look at doing. I'll check the rest of the map though. The trouble is I've got 2 fields I need to harvest. 2 fields to harvest. That's going to be... although they are only first stage harvest, so I'm not going to worry too much. I can get on and do some of the other work. Do this edge bit down here again where I miss bits. Get them all done. But I've yet to really have a travel. Obviously I did a little bit of driving around the map yesterday when I was going and collecting the cedars from the shop and all that good stuff. The cedar and the planter, because I forgot to buy those initially, and as I explained in yesterday's video, when I was buying all the equipment I kind of ran out of room at the store. Even though I moved equipment as I was buying it and parked it, we did end up running out of room before I could buy the cedars and planters. I haven't actually got a truck and trailer yet on this map. That's something else we need to add in at some point. Possibly. The thing is, we're not doing animals yet, you know. We had the truck and trailer at the original farm on Greenwich Valley, because it was going to come in very useful for getting rid of the eggs from the chickens at the main farm. It was also very good for bringing pallets of stuff from the shop to the farm for the like refilling of vehicles, like your seed, fertilizer, stuff like that. It's not so critical on this map because this map's got a fuel buy point and it's got a line buy point at the place where we park the vehicle, so we're not having to fetch that sort of stuff. We've also got seed, fertilizer in the silos already because I filled them up when I started the map, so we've got all the stuff already in those, and it should last us a little bit. There's quite a bit of stuff in each of the silos, so it should last us a while before we have to worry about refilling it. And at this point, maybe it's not so critical to grab pallets of stuff when we could take, we could take the ordinary trailer to the store. We could buy a load of pallets, go to the store, empty the pallets into the trailer, and then we can always then come back and do so all the powder stuff. We've got the tanker as well. We've got the little 28,000 litre tanker, universal tanker, which can obviously do the same thing. It could go to the store, empty the pallets of liquid fertiliser and herbicide, bring it back to the farm and put it in the silo for the refill silos. One of the things I did forget when I was setting up the map was that this map has a ferry built into it that you can drive. However, because of the fact that Farm Sim really doesn't like driving vehicles on water and stuff, the mod author built into as included in the map the store deliveries mod. So if you happen to crash and sink your ferry, you can buy a new one and spawn it in. Make sure it gets spawned in at the water by using the store deliveries mod, rather than buying it and having it appear at the store. I could have used the store deliveries mod then when I was doing my buying and selling. Field plough, and head back to the farm. Switch gears a bit, switch to some of the other machines. Like I say, I probably won't do the harvesting straight away. Have we got no prices showing? I don't know. Don't quite understand that. I've got to wait for the next hour in game to tick over, so it populates the finance screen for me. I'm logged in as admin, so the prices screen should be there. But I've been noticing a couple of times now I noticed it quite a few times on Greenwich Valley as well, that sometimes your finance screen would just go blank. You couldn't see how much you'd spent or how much money you'd made over the last couple of days because the screen would just literally disappear. Like it has done for me. I don't know if that's something to do with the fact that obviously I've got the server set to restart twice a day. Once at midnight and once at 12 noon. Just to keep things clear and fresh. And obviously eliminate the chance of any script errors from mounting up and piling up. We're not running a lot of script heavy mods on this particular server. We're not using seasons or anything like that. The only script mods we've got really are the global company stuff, and to be honest we've only got 2 of them this time round. Because I've not had to put the diesel storage tank in, because obviously there's a buy point for diesel at the actual farm. It's back to the farm. One of the things I was tempted to buy for the farm was a little rear mounted sprayer. We've got one sprayer already on the map, on the farm should I say. I was tempted to buy just a separate little sprayer just for keeping filled with herbicide, because otherwise you've got to keep emptying the current sprayer that we've got every time we swap stuff. So for example, again, getting back to the hedge situation, I would very much like to put a hedge right in here. You can definitely tell that this map is Irish, because obviously the placements of gates to some of the fields make no sense whatsoever. Where they've placed the gates for some of the fields just doesn't make any sense. And they like there, look, there's a good example. They've put a gate in, but all this is open anyway, and you can drive in here. That's kind of, there's like no reason for there to be a gate. Doesn't need a gate, does it? Same on that side, there's no gate. Nope, cement mixer doesn't want to wait. But they've put a gate in. There is a gate there, look. That's brilliant. 2 fields with gates that didn't need them. And then, like I say, we have fields that need gates, and they don't have them. Some of these corners aren't very great for navigating when you've got tractors and AI traffic, especially with these fences. Right on the road edge like that. Still having controller issues, by the way, if anyone's wondering why my driving is so bad. I really do need to switch to a different controller because this one's had it. I think the analog sticks are completely knackered on this. Been a good servant. It lasted me nearly a year. Unfortunately, my controllers don't tend to last long because of the amount of use they get. So, now what's that one? Is that a 920? That's a 920. That's not got any fertiliser in it, so he's not fertilised the fields then. He's just ploughed them. That's an interesting kind of dealie then. Because now I'm possibly going to have to go around and fertilise all the fields as well. I'm looking at fields 13 and 14 though, these ones. Because they're rather small. I'm thinking this field, these two fields would be better off as one big field, I think. Of course, what I could do, is we don't really have any digestate, that's the problem. Do we? No. If I'd got digestate, why is that's the brush. That's the brush, sweeping brush. Okie dokie. I wonder what that was then. I think I'm going to take the mower then. Up here. Good afternoon, Mr. Helgren. Might as well go and mow some grass. Some of these vehicles are a little bit wide for these roads. Not terribly easy. If we go do the grass fields, that'll at least give us some material we can start using to make stuff out of. It also gets rid of the weeds on those fields, and then I'll make a decision about whether or not I'm going to plough the fields and reseed them, because obviously they've got that horrible, like all maps, they all say they want ploughing and liming when you first start up. And I don't see the point in that. I don't see why you would lime spread and a grass field that just looks silly on the map. I'm going to put through I think we'll go this way. Difficult to remember where all the fields are yet. I've not learnt the map yet. In fact, I think I'm going the wrong way. Because that's the chicken pen there. I can't get through the chickens. And then we've got the pig pen. I can't get through the pig pen. I can get this way though. Hop out. Open the field. So we'll start on 16. So we'll get all these flowers mowed. It's a bit strange though, because these grass fields were ready to harvest. So why have weeds grown on fields that are, as I say, completely ready to harvest? I don't get that. I noticed it on a couple of other fields as well. I think, yeah, even our crop fields, even though they're ready to harvest, they've had weeds pop up on them. Weeds shouldn't appear in the harvest phase. Just can't get rid of them now. Hello, Mr. Helgi. I did say hello. I'm sure you can hear me. Let me just check. Is OBS working? Yeah, the microphone's bouncing around in OBS, so it should be working. The stream should be able to hear me. I will just restart my case. But it's there. My microphone's turned on. Twitch is acting up, is it? Okay. Twitch is being twitchy. Bit like my game controller is being very twitchy. You had issues anyway. These fields are very weirdly shaped. Very weirdly shaped. 17 is not ours. We don't own that field, so I'm not going to be too bothered about that one. Maybe you've dropped your internet box. Here he comes. Mr. Helgi. He's logging in. I hope he hasn't dropped his internet box, because if he keeps logging in and out all afternoon, Oh, he's left the server. Yeah, looks like Mr. Helge's got internet box issues. It very well looks like it could be your internet box, Mr. Helge. Tell you what, this little mower does feel the pain a little bit as it climbs up this little hill. A lovely little mower though, I quite like this one. Can I go on Discord voice chat? Let's have a look. First of all, make sure I'm in my channel room and Discord voice chat. I am in the Discord voice chat. Hopefully Mr. Helge can hear me.
I can.
He can hear me.
I'm trying again. Maybe I have just an internet update or something. Yeah, I tried to get rid of the weeds on these fields, but the weed killer doesn't work on grass field.
Yeah, it doesn't work on fields when they're ready for harvest. I don't know why the weeds have grown when the fields were ready to be harvested. That's a bit weird. They can only... Mr. Helge's on! He's made it.
So yeah, I have a stop and go motion, but then...
You've got a stop and go motion. That sounds like you've got a bit of lag then. On your
yeah, because it's a map update.
Otherwise, it's been working very well for me, this map today. I've not had any issues, logged in perfectly. I've been getting about 25 milliseconds on the old little mini map thing. And obviously I'm streaming.
Yesterday as well.
I'm streaming at 6 megabits per second today, so I'm using everything I've got at my disposal. It seems to be coping. Mr. Helge stood in the field. Look. He's trying to get that award again. He's trying to get that award, that medal.
You want to do one in big head?
No, my first thought was just get the grass picked up. Just because this has got weeds in it and stuff, I thought just get this picked up and chuck it in the digester, so we can start getting some digestate ready for our tanker, so we can do some field fertilising and stuff.
Well, I can also put the straw in the digester or silage maker.
Yeah, you can put some in the silage maker as well, the fermenting station. Get a little bit of that on the go. I saw that you ploughed all the fields that needed ploughing, and I thought, great, I can go and fertilise those, and then I realised we haven't got any stuff to put in our tanker. I could use
what I also noticed is that our what's it called? A slurry
spreader, yeah.
The field master is moving. He moves out of the shed into the next shed.
Yeah.
Maybe he's in love with the tether.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that yesterday when I logged on, because it was sticking halfway out the shed yesterday, and I was like, that's not where I left it. because
I parked the tractor in front of it.
yeah, try and block it. Some vehicles and some equipment does tend to move about. I don't know why that is. I don't know whether it's something giants. It's something to
It
do.
goes in the machine.
Yeah. A lot of the class vehicles do it, and I notice a lot of people are asking for an update to the class DLC to fix that problem, because apparently a lot of the class stuff moves around, people say. Especially like the header trailers and stuff for your combines. Apparently they go wandering when you're not on the map. But they shouldn't go wandering for us, because we've got them in those little like spaces, haven't we?
Yep.
Good afternoon, Jacob. Welcome to the chat.
I also, 2 days ago, I tried using my steering wheel, but it's so much, I don't know, it's probably the setup, but it's so in-depth that I really better off with the gamepad.
It's funny you should say that, because of the issues I'm having at the moment with my gamepad. I was seriously thinking about plugging my steering wheel in to see if I could drive any better, because honestly, the sticks are so flipping twitchy now. The vehicles are all going all over the place when I'm trying to do anything. And trying to drive around the map, on these narrow roads is an absolute nightmare, because the tractors are constantly moving left to right the whole time. They don't go in a straight line. Of course, it's Jacob's birthday today. Happy birthday, Jacob. Hope you're having a very good day today. Many happy returns for the day. I feel very privileged and honoured that you've chosen to spend your birthday watching me on Twitch.
Due to the fact that the steering wheel is not very direct, you are not driving in a straight line.
Yes, something I'm going to have to maybe have a bit of a play with.
It's also a setup issue probably, you know, how to set up properly and with stats, with these stats.
With the dead zones and everything, definitely. I saw somebody posting on the Steam forum the other day about trying to play the game with a G29 wheel, and they were finding the wheel was like really, really heavy and difficult to turn with the game. I was like, well, perhaps you need to turn your force feedback and everything off, because if I remember when I played FS17, you couldn't have force feedback on the wheel or anything, because it just wasn't programmed and coded into the game.
And when I first started up the steering wheel and the game, it was very, very high tense force feedback, so very, very tough to steer. Then I started the gaming software for the steering wheel, and then it was no thrust anymore. And with that, it was okay to steer, but it didn't really. It was a milli or 2 milliseconds late, so not so direct as this.
Little bit of controller lag.
I don't know, it
Input
feels
lag.
weird.
Where you turn the wheel and it doesn't respond straight away. Yeah, that would absolutely infuriate me.
You use the gas pedal for forward and the brake pedal to go backwards. That's also up, but I think you can adjust that. You can just brake with the brake and go forward, and then maybe switch the reverse gear in or something.
Yeah, I think that comes under the options of stop and go braking. If you turn stop and go braking off, then you can go in reverse, I think, with your accelerator pedal.
Yeah, but half an hour later, it's just removed it. I even had track IR installed to sit in the
cab and
cab
look around.
and look left and right, but then you cannot drive backwards because you can't see. So you have to go outside again.
You have to go into third person when you want to reverse.
Yeah, we need to figure out how to get over there.
The field I'm in, the best way to get to it is to go through the other farm, the other Ballydorn farm. If you go past the pigsty, there is a gate into the field.
Okay.
One of the things I am already noticing on this map is some
Then
of the
between the two farms, it looks like there is a fence not finished, a hedge not finished.
Yes.
I don't know.
Is
that right? 30 and 14? 30?
There are a couple of places on this map where there are gates where there doesn't need to be gates, because there's a gate and then the whole section next to the gate is wide open for you to drive in and out of the field. Yeah. And then there's other places like between fields 27, 28, 25 and 26 where there's a road that runs all the way through the middle of those fields, but there's no gates. So you can't get into any of the fields.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I was commenting yesterday when I played yesterday afternoon and was streaming, and one of the things I've been saying today is that I think that the gates on this map have definitely been designed by Irish people, because there's just no common sense. There's like, there's some.
Don't ask for a shitstorm.
There's just places where there should be a gate and there isn't one, and then there's places where they've put gates where they don't need gates, and I'm like, this is so backwards. It's so difficult to get into a field. So I've already been thinking to myself as I've been going round doing a few of these little jobs and stuff, where I'm going to start getting the plough and start taking out some hedges just to make little roads into the fields, make some roads into the fields for myself.
I drove mostly through the hedges because I didn't want to go all the way around the field to find the proper entrance.
Well, yesterday I was driving around finding the proper entrances, but it was beginning to get a little bit annoying. So today, the whole time I've been logged in today, I've just been like, screw it, I'm driving through the hedges. I'm taking the most direct route to get to where I want to go. What happened to the map? We've changed it, Jacob. We've changed to a different map. We're no longer on Greenwich Valley. We've moved over to Ballydorn because there's more contracts on Ballydorn, and all the fields so far appear to be set up correctly. So they're the correct size. They've got their definitions correct, which means everything works okay on all the fields. We've got contracts on all the fields, which is great for obviously Mr. Helgi when he logs on and plays by himself, because he loves doing all the contracts and stuff. Now he's got permissions, of course. I had to log in yesterday and give him permissions, because unfortunately I can't give people permissions when they're not logged in. Until a player's logged in on the server, I can't delegate permissions and stuff, so they have to be logged in whilst I'm playing to get all the access rights. So Mr. Helgi's got all his access rights now, so he can go off and play and do all his contracts that he loves to do, make loads of money for the farm.
So far I did one.
Which is obviously something that we couldn't do on Greenwich, because there was only about 4 fields with contracts on that map, and we owned most of them. But there's quite a few maps. So there's Greenwich Valley, there is Shamrock Valley, and this is Ireland. All maps on the ModHub that have apparently been through Giants testing and been passed by Giants, and all of them have the same problem, that they don't have field definition.
I don't want to make you nervous, but to me you are breaking up. I'm not sure about this.
It's probably Discord. It's probably, if your internet's playing up a little bit, you're probably...
Discord, probably.
It's probably Discord. I think if I was breaking up, Jacob would tell me on the stream if the microphone's not working properly. But yeah, I tried 3 maps last week, all off the ModHub, all Giants tested, and they all were broken and had the same problem. So I went and found this map, which is not a Giants map, not a ModHub map, and it works perfectly fine. So what does that tell you about Giants testing? Not worth the paper it's printed on.
And reduce the quality of the stream, so maybe it's better.
I did that yesterday on my iPad. Lowered the quality of the stream because for some reason my iPad was trying to download 1080p 60 FPS, and I'm like, I don't really need it doing that. the only thing I need to see on the iPad is the chat. So I was like, lower the video quality, because a couple of times the iPad would freeze for quite a few seconds and then it would like start again, and I thought, oh no, my stream's playing on my computer. But when I checked my recording software, it was fine. And when I checked on my actual browser, Twitch was telling me that everything was fine, so I was like, my iPad can't keep up with 1080p 60 FPS. But of course, I just got started yesterday. I was just starting to get into my groove, and then my flipping dad turned up and says, "Oh, you've got to take me to football today again, boy." So that was it then. Stream over. And then I did plan to log on a bit later on last night and stream something non-farming sim again. But by the time I'd had my dinner then last night, I was like, nah, it's too late now to be streaming. I'm a bit tired, so I'm going to go have an early night in bed. I love the fact that this mower cuts the grass when you drive in reverse.
Yeah, I also noticed that.
Oh, the grass in reverse, it's brilliant. You're having Domino's pizza, is that a birthday treat for you, Jacob? Getting the birthday special? Which takeaway is it that does if it's your birthday you get it free? There's one place where if it's your birthday you get your meal for free. I don't know which one it is. It helps if I put the blades down on the ground, it cuts grass better. I lower it.
Now you can feel it uphill.
Yeah, feel it uphill. Even this little harvester was struggling going up that little hill. I bet it's a bit of a challenge then getting to the digester or the fermenting silo when the trailers are full.
Challenge getting into the digester.
Yeah, because they're up that hill, aren't they? Over on field 11, where I put the digester and the fermenting thing, you have to go up that real steep hill from the road.
A little bit.
I tried flattening it out and smoothing it out as best I could, but then it wouldn't be on the same level as the rest of the thing where we've got all the seed and fertiliser refills and stuff. And I think it's the only bit...
Full, I'm going down a couple and between them.
The only area on this map that I can see as being good for placeable is that little bit on field 11. Not a lot of room to place a lot of stuff on this map. Tends to be again something I noticed with all these maps as I was looking for a map.
I don't have to drive uphill on field 11 because I'm driving through the edge of our field. So nowhere to mend about hill. Field 11 is a hill.
Yeah, it is. If you go from the road, from the water's edge, there's quite a drastic steep hill.
Yes.
That would have made...
You can try that and see how good you go.
When it was still a field, I bet that would have been very interesting to harvest or anything when you was trying to go up that hill.
Almost all the fields are a little bit bumpy.
Yeah.
Even this little bit.
What's my favourite pizza? My favourite pizza is one from a place that's local in my town. A place called Pizza Lovers, they're called. And they do a pizza called the Everest, which is a 16-inch pizza which has pretty much everything on it. All the different meats. It doesn't have any of the vegetable stuff, like it doesn't have like peppers on it or sweet corn or pineapple or any of that, mushrooms or any of that junk, but it is literally just full of meat. It's got chicken on it, beef on it, sausage, pepperoni, the whole shebang. And like I say, it's a 16-inch pizza. And it's buy one get one free, so you end up with two. Each time you order it.
If it wasn't enough.
Yeah, as if one wasn't enough, you end up with two. Tell you what, take some eating. A 16-inch pizza by yourself. You've changed your name on Twitch. You're now Jacob Monkey 15. Oh, I think I've got all the grass. I think I've got it all on this thing.
Looks like it.
A little bit of a weed in this corner, but that'll disappear. Because again, the annoying thing is when you look at the map, now we've mowed it, it says it wants ploughing and everything, doesn't it? No, it doesn't actually. 16 doesn't need to be ploughed. I thought it did. Field. There's a little one field 24 somewhere. Down here past the forest, I think. Oh goody, it's another field on a hillside.
So what is it like to drive the ferry?
I don't know, I've not tried it yet. I've not been on the ferry.
Do you drive onto it, so then you change into the ferry and drive it?
Drive the ferry, yeah, supposedly. That's apparently what I heard. There's some markers on the water that indicate where you drive the ferry. And if you go outside the markers, then you lose the ferry.
And the equipment on it?
Well, probably. You can probably reset the equipment to the shop. But apparently the ferry, if you lose that, you have to buy another one.
Expensive lessons.
Yeah. I haven't found the time to drive the ferry out because I've been too busy doing the fields and stuff.
Oh yeah, you did a lot of stuff. And excellent setting up the vehicles like on the other farm. Still, you still need the casher cleaner.
No, we've got the cleaner. The cleaner is in the wash pit.
Okay.
So where you've got where you've got the shed with the workshop, there's a toolbox. I've put a toolbox outside the workshop for for repairing the big vehicles because you won't get the harvesters in that little workshop to repair them.
Yeah, so it's just some decoration.
And then next to the workshop, there's like a pit. It looks like one of the silage pits, but it's actually a water area. So the washer's in there. And there's also the trigger for filling up your tanker with water. If you need to fill up the tanker with water for feeding animals and stuff, that's there. And then the diesel for buying fuel and stuff is on the other side, where it's got the red diesel thing. Which is why I haven't bought a diesel tank on this map, because we've got the buy point at the farm. So I didn't need that this time round. But I've still got the little the diesel trailer thing, because obviously the harvester tends to run out halfway through a field.
Oh yeah.
It still uses a lot of fuel. We've still got the increased fuel mod turned on, so... Keep an eye on your fuel gauges. Don't run out. Yeah, when I was setting up the map, buying all the vehicles, I kept running out of space at the shop. So I had to keep going and moving vehicles to make space so I could buy more stuff and park it all up. And then it only occurred to me today that we've got, because of the ferry, you have to have the store deliveries mod installed on this map, with this map. So I could have used that to deliver everything to the farm.
Could have used what?
I could have used the store deliveries mod to deliver all the vehicles to the farm.
Okay.
And just when I bought them, actually had them appear where eventually you park them all. So you did a great job moving everything and parking it and putting it all in its proper place, but I could have done that with the store deliveries mod and saved loads of time.
Yeah. Never mind, then you learn the map.
And I did buy the cedar and planter yesterday, so we've got cedars and planters now, because I forgot those. So they're parked at the farm.
Yeah, you also wanted to buy maybe a second harvester.
Yeah, we'll be definitely getting a second harvester at some point. One of the things I did notice though, with the planter that does the corn and sunflowers and that's a bit weird when you fill it up. I can see why you had problems with it.
Because it also allows fertilizer.
Well, it's got two tanks on it. When you open the cover to fill it, the first cover that opens is the big cover. And that doesn't fill seed. But what you have to do is close that and open the little cover, and then it fills it with the seed.
Yep.
But if you put fertilizer in it, it doesn't register the fertilizer, because obviously it's set up to seed only.
And it starts acting up.
And then it starts acting up, yeah. So you've got to remember when using the planter just to fill it with seed, and to do that you have to open the little tank. Because I was thinking, what's going on? Because I was trying to fill it with seed, and I was like, it won't fill up. It won't fill up.
I learned this lesson the hard way. Then you have to unload it, and then fill it with a little bit seed, and then unload it again, and fill it with seed, and unload it again, because every time there is fertilizer coming out.
And what I found weird with it as well is, like you say, you open the cover and the big cover opens. You press the button again, it closes, but the little cover doesn't open. You have to press the button again and then the little cover opens. That confuses me a little bit, because normally if you close one cover, the other one should open. All these horrible weeds. I mean, they do make the field look pretty, but
I wonder why Discord is not working properly. Why it's breaking up? Because I don't want to want to listen to Twitch, because it's
delayed. It's
time when it uses the sound, and then I don't want to hear me twice. I don't want to hear me at all.
That's the thing. That's the difficult thing to get used to. Now you're an internet star.
Stop talking again.
Now you're an internet star, Mr. Helgi. You've got to get used to hearing yourself.
Yeah.
That's the bit I have the hardest difficulty with. I hate listening to myself. I hate watching my own videos.
That's the bit I have a ha and then nothing.
I can't stand that. Can't stand hearing myself.
Yeah, because when you speak, you hear a different voice.
Taken me many, many years to find a microphone I'm happy with that seems to actually make me sound good. It's took me a long time. And still there are days when I catch a bit of I sometimes catch a sound of myself and I still think I'm a little bit like a chipmunk. This is a perfect example of a field that could do with having the hedge taken out.
What is going on with Discord? Can you tell me?
I don't know.
Did you not pay your license fee?
I have nothing to do with Discord. I don't have anything to do with the servers. Nothing.
Now I hear you, but sometimes, I mean, maybe you're too far away from...
Might be too far away from my microphone. Might be.
Activation?
Yeah, I've got voice activation turned on. I might be talking a little bit too quietly.
But also Twitch is sometimes stopping, and I'm not sure what's going on with my ear.
I might just have to shout a bit louder. But then I run the risk of upsetting everybody else in their house.
I have to buy a new internet box.
Oh, this harvester does not like this little mower, does not like this hill. Oh, it's struggling. Oh, he's struggling. The little mower that can't. That's what I think we should call it.
Picking up the straw takes as long as mowing the grass, picking up the grass.
Once that trailer starts getting full, yeah. You can do 17 miles an hour downhill. Can't do that uphill.
The hill up and down didn't affect the harvester that much. It didn't really drop in speed much. Maybe 1 kilometer per hour less.
I'm about half as fast on this other field. When I go uphill, I'm only doing 8. When I come down it, I'm doing 17.
So there are animal farms all over the place, but there's this one with all the animals. Did you put them there?
No, they're built into the map like that. So yeah, where you've got the chickens, the sheep, the cow, and the pigs here at Ballydorn Farm, those were built into the map like that. And then there's some others somewhere else. There's another farm somewhere on the map apparently. If I turn the grass off, Hill Farm has some cows and some sheep as well, which is near field 22. So there's a couple of places on the map with animals.
Hill Farm seems only cows.
There's cows and then there's sheep just above it, near 23.
Oh, okay. I see.
And I'm a bit concerned at the fact that there's 4 animal dealers on the map. So I'm wondering if you can only buy animals from a certain dealer. Each one sells a different animal, I wonder.
And then there are horses as well. You feed 8. see that? Horses near field 8.
Horses up near field 8. Yeah, right up at the top there. Near the egg sell point place. I didn't look and see how many animals this map holds in each of its pens. I did go around the Ballydorn farm and move all the water pipes and put them in the right places. The animals that have water. The chickens don't have water on this map though.
No, they're not properly installed.
No, they weren't properly supported by the map out of the box. So like when I loaded the map up, all the pipes were just like in the middle of the pens. So like I had to move the little like wheel thing and put outside the pens, and then put the pipe obviously into the trough where the water goes. I've been around and done all that. As I say, I don't actually know how many like pigs fit in the pig
What
pen.
would people do like me that have no idea how to do,
I don't know.
how to fix them?
You'd have to go on YouTube and watch. You'd have to go on.
Stop playing the map.
You'd have to go on YouTube and watch a video
Okay.
and learn how to do it. You'd have to watch your friend Farmer Klein.
Learn to fix the shortcomings of the map authors.
Farmer Klein does a wonderful video showing you how to move the pipes around. You just need to allow about 4 hours to watch it all. I can't remember whether I mentioned it or not in my Fenton Forest video when I moved the pipes. When I did the sheep and the pigs pens, wired and plumbed them all up. I can't remember if I did or not. I remember getting a bit concerned because shortly after I'd set all the pipes up and the game crashed and I was like, oh no, did it save? How much progress have I lost? And when I loaded it back
Did you
in,
do something wrong?
no, I didn't do something wrong. It was something to do. It was something to do with. I think it was when I bought the. I think it was when I bought the snow plough to plough the snow. I did some snow ploughing around the farm, cleared a load of paths around the farm when it snowed. But the snow plough had a bug in it, which caused the game to crash when you tried to save it.
What is this? It didn't work. It caused the crash.
It caused the crash, yeah. As soon as I tried to save the game and exit, the game just froze on that screen with the little spinny icon. And once that happened, that was like, oh dear, I know what's happened there. So I had to go to my backup save game folder and grab the last good backup and put back into the save folder, and it was like, oh, how much progress have I lost? And it seemed like it had saved just before I bought the snowplow, so I didn't actually lose that much. So I was quite happy about that. So I was like, yeah, don't bother snowplowing anymore. Not going to bother with that. If it snows in the winter, I'll just fast forward to the spring. But thankfully, touch wood, I haven't actually had any snow in the winter on Fenton Forest since then. I've been lucky. I haven't had any snow in the forecast. It's got cold, but I haven't had to contend with any snow. So now I've probably just cursed myself, and the next time I hit winter, it's going to snow.
So you want to put all the grass into the digester?
This first batch,
Okay,
yeah.
put it somewhere.
Yeah, this first lot of grass in the digestate, because then that'll build up quite a healthy supply of grass for us in the.
We have right now more than 150,000 grass.
Yeah, but obviously when the slurry tank will go through 32,000 litres at a time. When we come to slurry the fields. Well, when we come to use the slurry tanker to fertilise the fields, the slurry tanker will use 32,000 litres.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it needs a lot of digestate. So this first grass, because obviously this is going to have weeds in it, so we're not going to get the full amount that we should do. We might as well just put it all in the digester, and then we'll worry about silage next time, and hay the next time we mow it, when hopefully we won't have weeds and it'll be properly fertilised as well, and all that good stuff when the yield is at its maximum. Once I've done this field, or these two fields, I'll take a break from the mowing and see what else there is to do. The live stream is being lagging, is it? Dropped a couple of frames this session, but not many. The internet speed might be a little bit slow. Wonder if I'm getting a little bit of throttling from Virgin. Let me just drop that down a touch. Drop that down a little bit. He says, what quality have I got in there? That's probably it. Let me change that. That probably will improve things no end in a second or two.
What did you do?
For some reason, in the background, Twitch is trying to play the stream on my PC at full 1080p 60 FPS quality, and I'm not even watching it. So I normally in my little the little preview window, I have it set to 360p because I don't really need it to be anything more than that. Because again, the only thing I need to see is the chat. I don't need to see the actual video playing.
Oh, because you're live.
Yeah, because I'm live. So I've dropped the video quality in my browser down to 360 where it should be. I've also dropped the quality in OBS down to 5.5 megabits per second now to see if it's a case of the internet's being just a bit slow on Sunday, here on this Sunday afternoon. Because I have dropped 89 frames so far, which means it's struggled on a couple of occasions, but I've not noticed anything. I've not noticed anything in the game. I've not seen any lag in the game. I've been happily mowing away at 25 milliseconds. So I'm not having any issues with the game on the server. So might just be certain things on the internet that's having issues. And what do I mean by throttling? That's where Virgin Media, if you like, I'm on 200 megabits per second internet, so I should be able to download everything at 200 megabits per second. I should be able to upload everything at 20 megabits per second. But sometimes what Virgin Media do is go, oh, you're using a lot of internet, we're going to halve that, so you can only download at 100 megabits per second, and you can only upload at 10 megabits per second. And then, if you carry on using a lot of internet, they cut you again. And they keep cutting you until your internet is completely worthless, and you turn it off. And then you usually have to wait 24 hours before they take the throttle off of you. And it's really annoying because Virgin Media claim they don't do traffic management, but they do. But of course, it also could be just a case of it's Sunday afternoon, everybody's streaming because it's the weekend, and Twitch can't cope with all the people streaming. Because I think I mentioned it last weekend, when I was streaming last weekend, I mentioned that I watched a video over Christmas where a company did like some research into Twitch and streaming and all the different companies that enable live streaming and stuff. They'd spent a whole year doing research on them, and what they found was there's actually more people streaming now than there is capable of viewing. So there's more channels streaming than there is viewers. So all the different companies like Twitch, YouTube, Mixer and that, they're oversaturated. They've got too many streamers and not enough viewers, which explains why a lot of the streamers aren't making as much money as they used to. So eventually there's going to be, obviously there's going to be a bit of a sort of collapse of the whole Twitch streaming system, because it can't obviously sustain having more people streaming than watching.
So much,
yeah, you can only watch so much at once, and like I say, like this company found out, there's people who previously watched Twitch, just watched Twitch. So, you know, they went to work, went to school, whatever they did that, and when they come home, they would log on Twitch and watch people. Now a lot of those people are actually trying to stream themselves rather than watching. So all those people that watched channels have disappeared. And now there's more channels trying to get viewers, trying to be watched. And the term this company used was there's too many casual streamers now. Too many casual streamers, that's what they kept saying. And companies like Twitch and that would need to maybe start putting a little bit of a block on how many casual streamers they allow. But the problem is, everybody has to start somewhere. Nobody starts on Twitch or YouTube as a PewDiePie with 16 million subscribers.
It is difficult. Except they take the viewers from YouTube. if somebody has 6 million followers and starts doing Twitch, he will probably get to right from the beginning.
Exactly. Although I know some people that have quite a lot of followers, subscribers on YouTube who have gone to Twitch and the viewers haven't gone with them. They've tried moving to Twitch, but people just didn't go over and watch them, so they ended up going back. So it's... There's always that risk as well, that just because you have so many viewers on YouTube, they don't translate into Twitch or Mixer if you decide to go and try somewhere else. If you think the grass is greener on the other side, as they say.
Yeah, but is it? I have the feeling that the people go on Twitch to have a live stream, and on YouTube you see the saved videos usually. Rarely people do a live stream on YouTube.
Yeah, that's how it should be, and that's certainly how I try to do it. I try to do my live streams on Twitch, and then obviously try and then encourage the live stream viewers to go check out some of the saved stuff then on YouTube after, and watch that when I'm not live. There are people that try to live stream on YouTube, and then they try and then go to Twitch. It depends on what content you're creating, really. There's some people that I watch that only do live streams because they like to get the chat and that involved. People in the chat, people commenting, make up as much of the entertainment as what it is they're playing.
Yeah, but if people only do a chat on Twitch, don't even play a game.
Yeah, that to me is silly. That's something I don't do. I don't see the point in live streaming a game and not showing the game.
And live streaming a game has an advantage because you can then immediately get a feedback of what to do, what shall I do next, things like that.
Exactly.
While a YouTube, you cannot, well, maybe some people do, they make 3 videos on YouTube and then they can read the chat after 3 videos. And then the people are annoyed because I told you already after the first video you have to do this and that. But you haven't reacted because you already recorded second and third video.
There is that problem. If you're the kind of YouTuber that makes lots of content in advance and has it scheduled, then obviously you run the risk that people are commenting on videos and getting annoyed that you're not doing what they're saying. Like there's a guy I'm watching currently who's playing the Software Inc. game that I'm playing.
Yeah.
And it's very annoying to watch him because obviously he's recorded the videos that far in advance. People keep telling him how to stop the burglars from robbing all his stuff, and they keep telling him why he can't port a piece of software to a certain operating system. And every video he's having the same issues. And obviously it's because he's recorded he's probably recorded 10 episodes ahead. And by the time these people...
The viewers have banging their heads against the screen.
They're banging their heads against the screen. It's like, why is he not fixing it? But then you also get the situation like yesterday where you get a guy like Mr. CWP who made a video and released a video, and everybody started commenting on it, and he ended up taking the video down straight away because it completely upset everybody. He was getting he was getting that much abuse from his viewers that he ended up taking the video down.
Oh, wow. I mean, what I see the advantage of a YouTube series, even Let's Play, or if it's a kind of a tutorial that you can rewatch and watch just one video of 10. he doesn't die.
Yeah, yesterday was definitely an interesting day.
Really, without any let's play or tutorials for Factorio, I would have never ever started this. I would never ever had accomplished the game or played it, be able to.
No,
Because
the game,
like you noted, that
the game has no
tutorial is
tutorials.
right.
The game has no tutorials or help system of any kind to help anybody.
You
So if
think
you-
I read the Friday Facts, the latest, and they are currently rethinking about the tutorial, that they have a tutorial that actually matches and gives a step-to-step guide towards the rocket launch, that the people have a chance to do the first time they play Factorio to
to
do
launch
a
a
playthrough.
rocket and complete the game. Yeah, that would be
Yes,
fantastic.
That's what they want to do.
Because once you've done that and you learn the process and you know what things do, you can then obviously go off and have fun on your own maps and experiment with different things
Add
then.
mods and do things. Yeah. That's what they are thinking about. That's what they are actually trying to do. Having little small map areas in the beginning for red and green science, and then going a step further, doing the oil and extending the map. The difficult thing is that everyone has a different way of playing, and the result of each player will be different. So to continue on the next step without demolishing what the guy has done is a little bit difficult. So they have to closely guide you in order to make something like that happen.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what the tutorial that's in it now is a bit like that, where you do a certain step.
Yeah, but it's not really a one-to-one towards the game.
No, but what you're saying about closing like the tutorial off, that's kind of how it is now. Because you do a little bit where they teach you like, oh, how to mine resources and everything.
And then they delete everything.
And then they move you to another part of the map where you start again to do the next bit, which is like build your like furnaces and your assembly lines, and then again it moves you on to the next bit then when they start introducing turrets and walls and biters and stuff. And it became so disjointed because you weren't carrying on with what you'd already built.
They are aware of that fact and they want to change.
So certainly doing a new tutorial where it takes you step by step all the way through to launching the rocket would be fantastic. Because certainly for me, when I played Factorio, yeah, I learned how to mine resources. I learned how to mine the resources. I learned how to make me iron and me copper plates and me bricks and stuff like that. But then I didn't know what to do after that.
Similar thing is when I started, I watched Catherine of Sky, and she was doing a tutorial. I mean, she's not a fantastic Factorio player, but she does the basic things good and explaining it good, at least for a beginner. And that's how I learned the game. Just follow her step by step. But it would be better to have it in game.
It would definitely be better to have it in game. Because you've played the game for a few more years now, longer than I have. So you probably jumped into the game when it was still very new, still very early in development. And again,
it was 16.16 or something.
And again, the likes of Catherine of Sky and the people that you watch, they would have been quite new to it as well. So their videos would have been aimed more at new people. Certainly for me, jumping in now to Factorio quite late, when I've tried to watch Catherine of Sky or any of the other people, they do stuff so fast and they don't tell you why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, I've learned nothing. I've sat here for an hour and I haven't actually learned anything. I don't know why they've done that. And again, sometimes the way the videos are edited now, they miss bits out.
Why is your microphone doing like click, 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 click? There are some scratch.
The clicking. In fact, I've probably crashed the audio program. Nope, that's working. It's bouncing around again. That must mean it's working. Is Discord working? Or has Discord told me I've changed me inputs and outputs? Where's Discord gone? Discord's disappeared. Right, I'm back. I think I'm back. Am I back? Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Automatically determine the input sensitivity. There we go. It's funny because just as soon as you said, "Oh, your microphone," why does it sound like your microphone is going tick 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 tick? Discord crashed.
Oops.
I tabbed back to my desktop and I was like, "Where's Discord gone?" It's disappeared. But I just also unplugged and replugged my microphone back in as well to see if that has any effect on it.
It's definitely better.
I've also sat a little bit further back from the PC so I'm not kicking the cable with my foot, the microphone cable with my foot. Sometimes I do that. And I think sometimes you hear that. And I've got my foot wrapped around the cable and I'm jiggling it.
Yeah, then maybe unplugging and move it. Is this a big field? It seems like, or it's not just one field, it's
Two fields. It's two fields, but I've mowed them as one. And probably in the future I might look at taking that hedge out between the two fields and just making it one field.
Yeah,
All I can say is though, I am quite thankful this map doesn't have collisions on the hedges.
yeah, even for the header. Yes.
Header slide through perfectly fine. this controller's getting annoying now. Every time I let go of my right analog stick, the camera starts spinning. It's starting to make me a little bit seasick.
Should buy a new one. How much is it controller these days?
The one I'm using is about 30 quid, yeah, about £30. This little Nacon thing. Trouble is, they don't last very long. You barely get a year out of them. And then,
I'm getting more out of them. I mean, I'm not playing that much. I'm using Microsoft Xbox.
you know, I had a
cable?
I had an Xbox controller. That worked quite well, unfortunately, but then the cable frayed on it, right at the bit where it comes out the top of the controller. So then I ended up getting I got a Razer controller, which was a lot like the Xbox controller, but that stopped working after about just over a year. So then I bought this Nacon thing, and this has been alright for the last year, but it's just started to act up now. The analog sticks just don't seem to have any kind of dead zone on them. They're always moving. So I'm always having to try and adjust them to keep them straight.
I have to admit I had to use a rather high dead zone setting in like 14%.
Well, that's the thing. I've got it in the main menu of Farming Sim. I've got my dead zone set at 25%.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. And also in the software application on my desktop, I've got it at 35%.
Really?
So the software app is trying to apply a 35% dead zone. Then when I load up Farm Sim, it's trying to apply an extra 25%, and still it's just not working. So I might have to change controllers because it's starting to annoy me now. It's not I can live with it when I'm on a field, but certainly when you're trying to drive around a map on the roads, I can't keep the truck, the tractor or whatever I'm driving on the road, especially with the AI traffic as well. I either crash into the traffic or I crash into the hedge.
That easy on this one. Yeah.
I might switch controllers. I've got another controller very similar to this, which I've got plugged into my PlayStation. I might switch them over, because obviously I don't use the PlayStation that much these days, so it's probably maybe better. I might try that in a minute once I finish this field. It also means because the controllers having this problem, I can't use GPS either because it keeps turning it off every second. Because obviously the GPS thinks I'm moving the controller when I'm not, so it keeps turning the GPS off.
I mean, the wheel is definitely more immersive. It's more convenient with a controller.
Yeah, I certainly can't recline back in my chair with a steering wheel like I can with the controller. It wouldn't be as relaxing to play this game with a wheel as it is the controller.
Right now, put my feet up the desk and that's fine. Can I do that with a wheel?
I can't because the wheel takes up my whole desk. Although this new desk is a lot
like
higher.
I said, I cannot put my feet up with a wheel. I have to sit in front of it and that's it. Feet below, under the desk.
Although this new desk I got last year is a lot higher than my old desk, so if I put my steering wheel on it, it probably would be more comfortable to play with than my previous one. My previous one, it felt like the steering wheel was on the floor when it was attached to the keyboard drawer thing.
Yeah, you should try using it.
My only concern is that my steering wheel is a really old Logitech Driving Force GT wheel from 2010.
You don't need a high-tech wheel for the...
I know you don't need a I know you don't need a high-tech wheel, but the problem is my wheel's quite old and it uses a gear mechanism inside it, so it's quite noisy when you're using it. And where I've got my microphone, I'm a bit concerned that all you would hear on the stream and in Discord is my wheel grinding and rattling.
Is it a steam-driven wheel?
It very nearly is, being a Logitech. Logitech wheels have always used this helicoil gear system and it's awful. Thrustmaster and some of the other companies, they use a belt drive system, which is a lot better. And then obviously now there's companies that do direct drive wheels, which are very expensive. And are more for the real hardcore sim racing sort of people.
Well, you can spend $1,000.
I mean, I sum it up pretty much perfectly when I say my steering wheel was a PlayStation 3 steering wheel. Tells you about the quality of it, really. It was designed for the PlayStation 3. It was released by Sony and Logitech for Gran Turismo 5. It's cheap and nasty. It's not as cheap and nasty as the wheel you get in the Farming Simulator bundle, though. If you buy the Farm Sim wheel, that wheel is cheap and nasty. Which is why most people only use the panel that come in the set. That side panel thing. Well, there we go, Sunday afternoon and I've mowed the lawn.
Probably like the head of the company, of the family.
Right, unfold the header. Take it back to the farm. Give it a quick wash. I've used half a tank of fuel, so that's not bad for 2 fields. See what else needs doing next. I know there's a couple of fields that are going to need harvesting soon. You might already be
already some fields that you notice.
Already in the first stage, are they? Okay. If I can find my way back to the farm, it might be a case of start moving some equipment over there then. I think we just need the grain header, don't we, for those fields? Soybeans, 2 fields of soybeans, yes, so 1 grain header and a trailer. That's all we need for that. I did the sunflower harvest yesterday afternoon. That went well. And then you obviously did the contract harvest thing yesterday, and that obviously went well because you completed it. Yeah, here's what you was talking about with the gates. You've got 2 gates on these fields. There's a gate here that you can open. And then there's a gate over here that you can open to access fields 18 and 14. Yet there's absolutely no fence stopping you from doing them anyway. So why put the gates there?
Yeah, he set up everything to put some hedges where he had the grass is a little bit flat. He had set up, but he never. It's like he never finished this bit here.
Well, no. What I think instead of putting hedges here, he put some trees. He put some trees that were kind of buried in the map, and I removed all the buried trees.
Oh.
I deleted all the buried trees off the map because on some of the fields the trees stuck into the field, so when you would have been seeding and stuff like that, you would have been getting stuck on them. So I took them all out. So that's probably why there's some of these little gaps on some of the fields, because I've deleted the trees that he was using instead of bushes and hedges. Because obviously the trees have collisions, but the hedges don't. I went round and deleted all the buried trees. I was like, no, we're not having trees on field edges. County line was bad enough. So yes, your little pressure washer is over here. In the little water pit.
And what about the basketball field?
Yeah, they put the basketball in the water wash area. So you can play basketball while you're washing your machines. I think he put that in there just to stop people trying to tip silage in there. And trying to use it to ferment silage, because it's not a silo. It just looks like one. Right, I'm going to quickly try and see if I can swap my controller. Right, unplug that one, the broken one, which is a shame because I like that one because it's got little lights on it. It lights up. It's got that lovely little blue light on it. That's a PlayStation controller. I don't want that one. Hold on somewhere. There it is. So unplug that from there. Can everybody still hear me okay?
That's fine.
That's better. This controller works. Only thing is I might have to adjust the dead zones now. Because to move even slightly, I have to push the stick all the way to the left or the right. Everybody running off to. Mr. Helgi's still collecting the grass for the minute.
For the day.
For the day, yeah, lots of grass collecting. We may be able to get bigger trailers on this map, of course. That is one thing we can look at. There's a light switch there. Is that for them lights? It is for them lights. That's awesome. And the gate automatically opens as you walk up to it. That's a brilliant little trick. Jump in my little class 460 that I've now filled with solid fertiliser. So I can come do some fertiliser spraying quickly on a couple of these fields. 13, 14 and all them that have got lime on may need Solid fertiliser action. New grass fields will need a bit of solid fertiliser action. And Mr. Helby, if he wants to, can grab the combine. Make a start on the soybeans, and I can grab the trailer.
Sounds like a plan.
I do like this little fertiliser spreader. It tends to chuck the fertiliser quite far, which means you don't have to do quite so many passes with it. I know it doesn't hold a lot of fertiliser, but it does throw it a good width, so you don't have to do as many strips. It's just a little bit awkward when you turn, because it tends to miss a little bit. You have to be a little bit smoother with your turning. I also heard some very good news last night from Mr. Stevie, the guy who makes Fenton Forest Map.
What did he say?
That his new map should be available in about 2 weeks. Should have a new map out in 2 weeks called Lakeland. And he said he might send it to me a little bit early to do a bit of testing for him. I said,
Very
well,
good.
yeah, I'll be happy to do some testing. Find some bugs. If there is any. I did kind of, though, do a bit of a face palm, though, after I finished speaking with him. Because I was like, oh, he's bringing out a new map in 2 weeks, and I've just changed the map on the server.
Yeah.
I could have left it for 2 weeks and gone, and we could have switched over and played his map.
Yeah, we don't know if it's any good, Stevie's map, but they are usually good.
If it's anything like Fenton Forest, it would be a good map. It's only standard size, it's not a 4X map, so it has that going for it. He's posted quite a few pictures on his Facebook page, but he hasn't yet showed a picture of like the whole map, like the map. So you can't see what the fields look like, what the shapes are and what their sizes are. I think he's holding that close to his chest at the minute. But if it's like Fenton Forest, he will have a mixture of irregular fields and square ones to keep everybody happy. I'm going to have to get really busy on Fenton Forest over the next 2 weeks to get lots of videos recorded. Just in case when the new map comes out, I want to change over to that for single player. See, this field I'm putting the fertiliser on now, that could really do with being ploughed into the field next to it.
Definitely. They're both small
They're
fields.
both small fields, and that hedge really doesn't serve a great deal of point. I think when we have to plough this field next, we'll do that. We'll try and remember. I mean, this field as well, 18, that's quite a little field. Almost wondering, the field where we've just done the grass on that you're picking up on now, I'm wondering if that would be better off, because it's a big field, being turned back into a crop field, and then maybe use one of these smaller fields as a grass field.
Yeah, I don't think we need that much grass.
Fence.
Almost 500,000 liters of grass.
Awesome. Going for a bit. Fertilise the chickens. Give them a spraying. (3:30). Noon. Don't know what it's like outside in the real world. I ain't even opened the curtains today. In the office. Don't know what the weather's like outside. Probably very wintry. It's a bit weird where I live at the minute, the weather. Because 1 minute it's quite warm, it's about 10 degrees or so. And then if it starts getting a bit windy, the wind is about -20. So if you're outside and you're not in the wind, it's quite warm. And you start to get a bit hot if you've got a coat or jacket on or anything. So you take it off and then you walk to a bit where you catch the wind and you freeze. Uh-oh, looks like Mr. Helgie's broken down. He's stopped moving. He's run out of fuel. Or he's gone AFK. Still logged in. He's on the move again. Must have just fell asleep for a second.
Me?
Yeah.
It was just grabbing a coffee.
I suspected as much. I thought you'd gone AFK. Gotta have his caffeine breaks as Mr. Helgie. I don't have much of a choice today on what I can drink. I've either got some zero sugar Dr. Pepper or I've got some lemon Fanta. And I've been put off both of them a little bit because I took a mouthful of each not long after I brushed my teeth this morning and they didn't taste very nice. I think I'd best keep making a bit of an effort with the toothbrush until I've seen the dentist on Wednesday. I bought the smaller weight for this tractor this time on this map, and it seems to work a lot better. And the great thing with small weight is I can still leave the front loader attached as well. Corn is growing very nicely on field 31. I'm out of fertiliser in a second. I've run out. Back to the farm.
Ah,
Fill up with some more.
it's full.
What's for? A fermenting plant. The
The
digester. Make some silage now then. Fill that one up.
Digester. We put it in the silage thing.
Gate open if you drive a tractor. although it won't fit through. Shame the map author didn't make the gates, the field gates, automatically open and close. That would have been quite cool.
Yeah, have a little boy standing there and ask me for a open the gate and close.
Sender 9, hello? Hi to you.
You have 73. No, that's a different one. I was just saying.
Yep, new map. This is a new map today, Mr. Sender 9. This is Ballydorn. We've switched over from the previous map, which was Greenwich Valley, because of some of the issues that that map has. So we thought we'd give another map a try. So we've gone for Ballydorn, which keeps with the British sort of Irish theme. And so far, from what I've seen so far, all the fields look to work okay on this map. They're all the correct size and definitions and stuff. Where did I download the map from? This map is available on Nexus Mods. You can download it from Nexus Mods. And that's where the author uploaded it originally. It's probably been copied and stolen and uploaded on a few other sites by now, but I know for a fact that Nexus Mods is where the author posted it. And if you have anything to talk to the author about, or if you have any problems, that's where he's doing his troubleshooting and got his contact information and stuff. But so far I've not run into any problems with it myself. As I say, everything's working okay. The field sizes seem to be fully functional and defined correctly. Every field seems to have contracts available on it, so proving okay. I mean, I've not had a chance to play too much of the map yet. I only started playing the map yesterday. I did one bit of harvesting and a bit of ploughing. Mr. Helgi did a contract last night and a bit of ploughing.
No, I had no issues yet.
So, all seems to be working okay at the minute. There is only one slight issue that I have come across with the map, and that is the fact that if you use the terrain tools and try to paint grass, you don't get growing grass. You just get the flat green texture thing. That's the only slight niggle with the map. So if you do any, like, make any changes to any of the fields and stuff and try to paint grass in, you're going to be unlucky with that unless you remember to fix that yourself before you start playing on the map. If you go into the map file and fix it. So there may come a day, Mr. Helgi, when you come to log in and it'll tell you that the map's been updated and you have to download a new version.
That's fine.
Again, when I was looking at the
If
mapping,
the server side is fine, you can see what is missing in the game, and then you can download it directly. No.
one of them them things. I just never even checked that. I never looked at that bit of the map. I opened it up in the editor and had a good look around the map with the actual editor to make sure everything was okay. I checked all the XML files to make sure that, you know, everything's buyable and sellable and all that stuff. And I just didn't think at this point in time that maps would come out which didn't allow you to paint grass. I thought that was like one of the things that... Yep, it's a brand new build for FS19 sender. Brand new map. It's not a convert of from FS17 or anything like that. It is a total brand new map built from the ground up by the author. So it has all the FS19 features and functionality.
I mean, the special feature is the ferry, I guess.
The ferry, yeah, that's probably unique to this map. The fact there's a ferry that you can drive across the water to get to some of the islands on the map.
But there's also a possibility to go across the land to
there's roads to the islands as well, so you can take the road route if you wanted to. But yeah, there is a ferry you can drive. And what I thought was quite cool last night when I logged on last night, and it was obviously night time, the lighthouse on the map works. Did you notice that? Or did you sleep through the night that quickly that you didn't notice?
I didn't hear what you say because I didn't hear anything.
Sorry, I said, did you notice that the lighthouse worked on the map?
Oh yes. It's nice.
So when it gets dark, that lights up and starts spinning. So as you're driving around the field, you see the little flashing light from the lighthouse. I thought that was quite cool. Yeah, it's a good map for small equipment. There are some small fields, definitely. There's a couple of fields that in time we will probably join together to make bigger. But yeah, definitely small equipment. So it was kind of like, it made a good sense to switch to this map from the last map we was on, because we was using small equipment on the last map as well. Especially trying to drive around the map with the roads and that being so narrow, you really can't get away with too much wide stuff. And driving down some of the paths between the fields is a bit narrow as well, looking for the gates to get into the fields.
And then the hedges don't have collision.
Yeah, the hedges don't have collision, so you can take advantage of that if you're one of those players that doesn't care too much about the realism. You can drive through the hedges without any problem.
But I do that in reality.
Yeah, you're such a bad lad, Mr. Helgi. I keep hearing about all these German farmers that wonder who keeps driving through their hedges.
Stone hedges, or drive through them.
I have once upon a time in real life driven through a farmer's hedge with a car. I have in real life driven through a hedge and ended up sat in his field in my car and then had to get him to tow me out with his tractor. It was winter time, the road was icy. I got to the corner in the road and the car didn't turn the corner, it just kept going straight.
It happens. Was it a soft hedge or a stone hedge?
It was a soft hedge, it was a hedge.
Did he have collision on?
He had collision on, yeah, but my car completely ignored that.
He complained and sue him because he had collision on. We were of the opinion that we shouldn't have collision.
No, thankfully my car did more damage to the hedge than the hedge did to the car. I was kind of lucky because where I actually went through the hedge, it was relatively freshly sort of planted, so a lot of it was still like little sticks in little plastic things. So I just basically ripped his twigs out of the ground. But he wasn't a very happy farmer. He charged me 150 quid to tow the car out of the field.
Oh my god, so much grass.
Loads of grass. Yeah, there's a lot of grass fields on this map. A lot of grass fields. Field 32, there is a big grass field as well. If we ever buy that, we'll probably repurpose it for crops. Probably merge it with
You
field 22.
definitely have to, you don't need so much grass. Unless you have a dedicated grass mower player.
You have a Peter.
Yep.
Get Peter on to do all the mowing.
Give him a tractor with a 2-meter mower.
Give him that little profie hopper. That little Amazoni profie hopper. Let him do it with that. That little ride-on mower that came out on the ModHub last week. I love that mower. I used to use that loads in FS17. I love that little mower. I can't believe it's taken over so long for it to come to FS19. I remember I played on the American Outback map, and I'd go, there was like, I'd have a massive field on that map for grass, and I'd go do it with that little mower. I would.
Maybe you can convert some fields into a golf course.
It took me hours to mow that field on American Outback, because obviously it's only 2 meters wide. That it might even be less than that. It only holds about, I think it was 3,000 litres of grass as well, so I'd have to keep going and emptying it every little bit, every few minutes or so.
That sounds like the right machine for Peter.
Grass field's got weeds all over it too. Look. Field 29.
Yeah, we definitely need to convert many fields into proper crop fields.
Fields 44 and 45 are interesting because they're quite close together, but then they've got trees annoyingly in between them. They've got just a few trees randomly placed in between the two fields, which means you'd have to take them out first before you could merge that one. Little contractor farmers, I think it's called. Yeah, weeds in grass fields. It's again, that might just be something to do with the first, as I say, this is the first time the map's been running and it's going through its first cycle, but I didn't think weeds grew on grass when it was ready for harvesting, or on any field. If a field was in the harvest stage, I didn't think weeds would grow on it, but weeds have popped up on all our fields, even on our crop fields over here. They've got weeds on them now and they didn't have. These fields are ready for harvest and the weeds have popped up on them, so might just be the first time. As I say, once we've gone over the fields the first time, we've ploughed them and everything, limed them and everything ourselves, they might be alright. And once we obviously herbicide spray them, they should be alright. They'll probably be alright, I would think. It's just obviously the fields are as they were when I started the map up, so we've not actually done anything really to them yet. As I say, I've harvested one field, we've mowed a couple of the grass fields, we've ploughed a few fields, so we're slowly getting through them. But takes time with just 2 players, sadly. I'm going to have to cut through this field because I can't be going around the long way. There definitely needs to be a gate in this field. There needs to be a gate somewhere here. It doesn't make sense. There's still loads of grass to pick up, Mr. Helgi. Oh, it's over here. Don't drive it down the hill though. Ooh. Busy and about. So we will be doing harvesting next. So I'll drive the harvester over there and I'll grab the little header trailer.
Can you imagine? I have about 10 meters of grass strip left and
You're full, so you've got to come empty and go back for
this
that
is
last...
trolling, this game.
You've got to go back for that last little 10 metres.
Yeah. Maybe 2% or something, feeling great.
The other option is just to leave it there and pick it up next time.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're not playing seasons, so it's not going to rot or anything. It won't disappear until you pick it up, so...
I will pick it up. Yeah.
Where is that luxury? Now here comes the deadly bit. I haven't tried driving around the map with the harvester.
He's loading back and he's 30 now.
It might be a bit narrow, this.
Funny enough, is the tractor is not dirty at all. So I grab the trailer and bring it over?
Yeah, I can do. Like I say, once I get to the field, I'll jump out of the harvester anyway and let you do the harvesting. Because you've been doing all trailer work so far. Right, It's a good job I deliberately, intentionally hit that fence post to let that car come by me. And I didn't just crash into the fence post. That was all tactical on my part.
2%.
Most people would turn the traffic off, but I like to keep the traffic on because it adds to the immersion. And it makes the map feel alive.
Yeah, just keep traffic on and install the rocket launcher to blow off the cars in front.
The good thing is the cars drive sensibly on this map though. They're not like county line cars. On county line, the cars used to travel about 80 miles an hour and just crash headlong into everything that got in front of them. Hit me, Mr. Car. It wasn't me. One of the good things is at least this field has got a good bit of area. So when I drive in there with the harvester, I can drop the trailer off, manoeuvre around, pick up the trailer. Field 28 was a little bit awkward, I must admit. Trying to do that one. Oh, someone's buying fuel.
You cross the red engine.
Someone's buying all the fuel. There's the boat.
Here goes the ferry. Bye bye.
Bye bye ferry. So yeah, you can definitely get vehicles on it. It's big enough to put vehicles on. And like I say, you just need to keep it between these red and green markers, otherwise you'll lose it. And then it's very expensive to buy another one.
It's really a great idea.
I think I'm travelling in reverse. I wonder if they have contracts on these fields over on these islands that you have to use the ferry to get over there and do them. The only thing is I'm scared to press the button to get out of the ferry in case it drops me off in the water.
Yeah, what happens if you leave it like that? Is it staying in the middle of the...
It'd probably stay exactly where you left it. And then you'd have to tab into it, I suppose.
Swim over there.
A unique little feature though to the map, I must admit. You've got to give the map author some props for that. It's very original.
Is it only really a ferry from one place to the other, right?
Yeah. One dock
No
goes
other
from,
way to go.
goes from one dock to the other. Not very good at steering boats and trying to park boats, but there we go. Park it in there, then unfold it. Oh, look at that! You get out on it, so it doesn't chuck you in the water at all. And then you can just come over here, and there's some benches. There's a little house, look, somebody lives in. Someone's got some solar panels on their roof. That's a bit Irish, if I have to say so. Again, it's a little bit Irish. You've put solar panels on your roof, but you've put your solar panels right behind a tree. So they're constantly in the shade.
You don't want to overheat them.
He didn't think that one through very much, did he? Private crossing, farm access only. Hey, it's all good. So, which tractor has he robbed? Has he robbed one of the 900s? No, it's the 870. Perfect. Perfect. So we've got the 870s for doing the trailer running. Yeah, might have to chop down some trees on this map. We've not done tree chopping yet in the game, but there's a couple of trees here that definitely want chopping down and removing, so we can join these two fields together. I was trying to think how many I got. What was it? I got 36,765 litres of sunflower when I did our sunflower field. So I didn't quite get a full trailer load. So it'd be interesting to see how many soybeans you get. And how long, of course, it takes for you to get full.
Why you want to join these two fields together? When they are each pretty good size. It's not much wasted area between them.
Yeah,
And if you want, you can plant different crops.
Yeah, we can plant different crops, there is that. And then they've done the same down here, look, on 43, they've put trees. So got 43, 44 and 45, which are nice fields separated by trees. But there is the option, if we ever wanted to make them one field. Oh, he's put his pipe out, he wants filling. Getting full.
84%. The wheat you have to pick out by hand.
You have to pick the weeds out by hand. Bit like the Welkers having to pick out all the mould from their peas.
Yeah, sure.
must be really, really annoying. That must, for them. They must be absolutely going mental over there. Because it's not exactly a short drive for them to take their stuff to the place where it gets sold. It's a 30-mile drive. So it's a 60-mile round trip for them.
That's crazy.
But to drive all that way to the place where you sell the stuff, and then they turn around and reject your trailer, because when they took a sample they found a bit of mould on some of the peas.
And they took a what?
When they take a sample. I don't know whether you've watched any of the Welker videos or any of the Millennial Farmer videos, but when they go to the sell point in real life, they drive in onto this little platform, and this little robot arm comes out and goes into the trailer and takes a sample of the crop, and it checks it.
Yeah.
Obviously for consistency and grade and moisture and all that sort of stuff. Dryness and everything, yeah. They then drive round.
Humidity, or what's it called?
They then drive round to another platform which weighs the truck. And then once they've been weighed, they obviously go to the bit where they empty it. And then they go back.
Weigh the tractor.
And then they weigh the truck again, and obviously calculate the difference, and then obviously calculate how much to pay them. But in the video I watched the other day of the Welkers, they drove to the factory. It did the sample of the crop in the trailer. By the time they'd driven around to the bit where they weighed themselves, it come up with a red light. So they had to use the phone at the waypoint to ring the thing up, and the company says, no, we've detected mould on your peas, so we're rejecting that trailer. So they had to take the trailer all the way back to the farm, 30 miles, empty it, fill it again with another bin, drive that back to the crop place. This time they said, yeah, that's okay when they tested it. So they tipped that load, drove back to the farm, filled the truck up again, went back to the crop place, and then when they sampled it again, they rejected it. They were getting quite annoyed. I'm suddenly seeing lots of drop frames again. I'm up to 238 now. Wowzers. I think the internet's box has been dropped by somebody. So I think in the end they stopped doing any truck runs. They did. Because they said it wasn't worth it, because by the time they've driven 30 miles, if the company was just going to turn around and reject the trailer, it's a complete waste of their time and money. I think they were going to try and figure something out, what to do with the peas that they harvested this year. Because they've got loads of them apparently.
You said there is mold in it. What is it? I don't know.
It's mould. I think basically what's happening is because obviously it was quite. They've had a lot of wet weather this year. Both the Welkers and Millennial Farmer, they had lots of issues with rain when they were trying to harvest. So some of the crop was quite wet when they harvested it. When it's been sat in the silo, obviously some of it's started to go a bit mouldy because it's wet.
Bad, huh?
Yeah, it started to go a bit bad.
Like some kind of a fungus?
Yeah. But it's only the bit right on the top, obviously at the top of the silo, where it's exposed to like some of the air and that. The actual rest of the crop down below is quite good and it's fine. But they reject the whole trailer as soon as they detect a tiny minimal bit. They reject the whole trailer load. So of course they've got to go, and at some point they've got to find a way to sort through all the crop and remove the mouldy crop from the good crop, so they can just take the good crop back. But as Nick was saying in the video, right now he just can't be just can't be doing with it right now, because like they'll accept 2 or 3 trailers in a row and then they'll reject a trailer. And when he's driving 60 miles, he says it's a lottery. He does, you know, you've got no way of knowing whether they're going to accept it or not until you get there. So he says it's a bit of a waste of time.
But if you put one piece of this mold into the big silo, you destroy all the crops. Could be eventually.
Is there a track on this or not?
And you can fill it up. This
Oh, I want to use this one.
digesting.
Fill this up quickly. You'll shout me when you need emptying, because I can't hear your beep today. Because you're obviously on push. You're obviously on push to talk today, so I can't hear the beep.
Yeah.
Not quite enough in there yet to fill the tanker full, but it was close for a full tank load. That's not bad. Yeah, I'm at 87%, so nearly. Like I say, you've put quite a bit in there. There's nearly 500,000 litres in there, so there's quite a bit of silage as well being made, so we'll be able
It's
to
a matter of giving it time to do it.
So we'll be able to take the silage up to the BGA as well, get paid for that, and that will give us a bit of digestate as well, because the BGA will give us some free to bring back.
So hopefully that works.
That will give us a fair bit.
Because we can't buy it, right?
Yeah, we can't buy digestate.
BGA.
I'll find my way back to the field now. Here I am.
We own the BGA, do
We do. I bought that yesterday. Again,
okay.
that was one of the things I kind of forgot. It was up there at the top of the map, and I was like, BGA, we need to
when
own
I
that.
looked, it wasn't ours.
One of the things that does confuse me a little bit, like when you look at the map, you can obviously see there's a gap between field 20, like 30 and 29, 27, 28, 25 and 26, where obviously the path is, or the track is, the dirt track. In single player, you can buy that and own that, as well as some of the other bits and pieces around the map, like the little bit next to field 14, you could buy, you own that.
Yeah.
You can't do it in multiplayer. You can't own any of like the roads and tracks.
So you cannot combine these fields. Yeah.
You can't combine those fields. And also, where some of those paths and tracks are really hilly and bumpy, you can't smooth them out with the terrain tool because you don't own the land. So there's some really big potholes in some of those tracks that your tractor falls down.
Yeah, driving the stuff to the farm, I had 1 or 2 collisions where there was nothing. Oh, I like the tractor sound.
Another mod author that I spoke to the other day when I was having a bit of a trip round all the different Facebook groups and that. I spoke to the guy who makes the Fent Tri-6 mod.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing an update for that mod soon. He's got some updates planned for the Tri-6, so that mod's going to get even better. Apparently he's got some even better sounds to add to it, and some other bits and pieces that he's going to fix and improve on it.
Really. I know that there was an update already where it made these clicking sounds and stuff.
Yeah, the version 2 update. He has got, as I say, he is planning and working on version 3. One thing I said to him was, is there any chance you can make the steering wheel not egg-shaped? Can you make the steering wheel round? I said, because it's a bit confusing when you go into first person and the wheel's not round. It's shaped like a rugby ball. I like as well the fact that when I'm emptying you downhill, I can just let the hill move the tractor. I don't have to touch the accelerator. The tractor just rolls just slowly enough downhill that it lets you keep emptying. Just put it in neutral. We've got a good few fields to start with. So there might be a couple that are, there's maybe 1 or 2 that's got too much grass. So maybe, like I say, 26 and 24 we might want to think about reclaiming in the long run. We'd still have 16 for grass and 29.
Yeah, I think you need 2 smallish fields for grass, right? Should be enough.
As I say, 13 and 14, that makes more sense to put them into one field, really, because they're too small. But that's one of the things I like about this map. It also does let you do things like that. It gives you the chance to maybe change a few fields. Whereas again, as much as, you know, as beautiful as Greenwich Valley was, and it looked really fantastic, it didn't give you a lot of chance to change stuff, did it?
Yeah, the issues that we had, of course, with the fields not being maintained by the AI.
Yeah, with the... I mean, there's some really big fields on this map. I mean, 35 is a big field. There's some big fields on this.
Have you seen anything here that the farmers work on it?
Yeah, the farmers seem to be working their fields properly. They seem to be going through all the different stuff. There's plenty of contracts. Look, I'm having to scroll down the page to see them all. On the last map, we used to only have about 2 or 3 at the top, and they were either all baling contracts. I mean, we've even got transporting contracts on this map, which we didn't have before on the last one.
Yeah, with transporting contracts, I don't really know what they mean. What do they need to be transported?
When you accept them, you'll find on the map it gives you a yellow dot somewhere on the map where you have to.
What equipment do you need?
You need a trailer, truck and trailer. You need something that can pick up. You need something that can pick up pallets, because basically you drive to the yellow dot on the map, pick up the pallets, and then you drive to the red dot on the map and unload them.
But you need to have some forklift or stuff.
You would need to have a forklift or something. So again, the little tractor with the front loader on, it's perfect for that. Because I don't think we've got any auto load trailers.
Maybe some small trailers. Right?
Oh no, we have got auto load trailer. We've got 2 little trucks. We've got the Cat 680 potentially, and the Ford LTL 9000, which could do auto loading. We've used one of those trucks before. We used it on county lines for doing the eggs, the egg pallets and the wool and stuff. It's only a little truck. It's not a great big, massive, long trailer. But they're, I think, the only auto loaders we've got. Unless I've installed some more, which I don't think I'd... we have. We've got the Flegel pack as well, which does everything from square bales to cotton to round cotton to pallets to egg boxes. All sorts of stuff. I can't actually tell what all that stuff is because it's all written in German. I must have downloaded that from the German mod site. And it's all in German.
Because it says Britsche. Britsche means it's a flat triangle.
Rundbalen, Quadrabalen, Paletten, Baumwollbalen, Rundbaumwollbalen.
You mean this, yeah.
Bretter Paletten, Ike
Cotton
cartons,
I mean, it says the first sentence is English, the second is the German. What's the...
Yeah, we got some little auto load trailers there. Some of them have got them horrible swivelly axles on. That one's probably not too bad. That's a nice little trailer, look. There's another one, a little bit bigger version. He's disappeared. He's gone. He's vanished. He's on another field. Right, let's have a think. So I'm doing soybeans. Best place to sell soybeans?
Oh, this is a big field again.
Watermill.
Take a break after we've done this field.
The watermill. Yeah, this field's slightly bigger than the last one. Watermill is at the top of the map, isn't it? Yeah, it's up there near the petrol station and the BGA. When I need to go and empty. I'm currently at 37,000 litres, so I'm at 60%. So I've got about another 2 empties before I have to go and empty. Go and sell our first crops. Because I didn't sell the sunflowers the other day. I put the sunflowers in the silo. I don't know whether you noticed that.
No,
I put the 36,000 litres of sunflowers in the silo, so we've got 86,000 litres in there at the minute. Got a bit of everything sat in the silo, so if we get any rainy days, we can take some of that stuff to sell.
It's about to be raining, maybe just overnight.
Well, the good thing is we're only in the first growth stage, so we don't have to worry about the crop withering. So hopefully the rain won't last too long.
There is no train on this one.
No train. Don't think he's got room for one. With the ferry and everything.
I don't miss the train.
So, I've never really used it. The only time I've ever used a train was on the very first map I played in FS19. Estancia Lapacho, because there was one delivery point on the map that you could only get to with the train, and there was lots of contracts where the people wanted the stuff delivering there. So not only did I have to
otherwise I wouldn't know what do you do with the train, just moving your stuff around in different silos.
So yeah, so on Estancia Lapacho it was a little bit annoying because sometimes you'd get contracts for fields and you'd have to take the stuff and put it in a railway silo. Then you'd have to load the train up and take it to the sell point, which was up at the top of the map with the train.
Don't hear anything.
It was quite.
I heard La Estancia La Spaccio and then train.
Yeah, well, as I say, on Estancia La Pacho, a lot of the contracts that you did for the other farmers, the farmers would always want their crops selling at the transport company, which you could only get to via the train. So as you were harvesting their field, you would have to keep going and putting the crop in a train silo, so you could pick it up with the train to take it to the transport company. It made those contracts really long and difficult, especially when they were always for stuff like potatoes or sugar beets. Oh. And especially when the silos would only hold like 200,000 litres of crop, so you'd have to keep emptying the silos because you couldn't just you couldn't just do all the harvest, fill the silo, and then go get the train. It would take ages to do those contracts.
It's like we have to get the trains utilized. We have to think about something, and then they come up with this.
Yeah,
leave the trains alone. Don't use trains.
Well, I haven't got a problem with the trains. My only problem is the fact that the trains, if the trains went through every sell point, then the trains would be quite useful. You could use the trains as an alternative to trucking and trailering your crop. But when the train only goes to like one sell point on the whole map, it's hardly worth bothering with.
Yes.
And literally, like I say, on the Estancia map, if the AI farmers didn't sell their crop there, you probably would have never used that sell point at all. Because I always took my crops either down the bottom of the map to the harbour or to the bakery. The spinnery was down there for your wool and your cotton, so there was very little point.
Like Hof Bergman, for example, didn't have a train. And you didn't need one train.
No, because that map's quite small, isn't it?
Yeah, but it has so many features and stuff. It's a good single player. The only thing that why I stopped playing it was when there were some contracts where you had a potato harvest,
and you had to put the potatoes in the little. You had to put the potatoes in the little boxes and sell them in
boxes to put them in the Hofladen in the shop.
That would take you ages to do. That would. On the old Hofbergman. But like you say, it's a good single player map. And Shamrock Valley, the map we looked at in the week, that would make a good single player map, but it's probably far too small for multiplayer. The fields are too small, there's too many grass fields, but again, for a single player doing the whole map themselves, it's a good map, and it's got some nice unique features with the steam train and everything.
It's not excessively large.
It's a very beautiful looking map, but it's not big enough for for multiplayer. And some of the some of the fields on that map, when I started looking at it, had definition errors. You commented about the fact that some fields had mixed crops on them.
Yeah.
That's usually a big giveaway that the fields haven't been set up properly on it. When the AI farmer starts growing two different crops on the same field.
95%.
Come in. Reverse engine. I'm on a bit of a hill.
Oopsie daisy.
I was on a bit of a hill there. The tractor wouldn't accelerate. I'm gonna get lined up. We'll be able to do it this time.
It's your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. Grain driver. It's always the grain driver's, grain cart driver's fault. Always. Rule number 1 of grain cart driving. It's always your fault. This is probably going to fill me up to the point where I need to go and empty. Follow the road all the way up and then take a right. First right. There should be that sell point. Just had a Skittles cake with Ben and Jerry's ice cream. That sounds nice. Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Is it? I like the peanut butter Ben and Jerry's. Peanut butter ice cream. Oh, that's delicious, that is. Or the chocolate fudge one they do. Chocolate fudge brownie, I think it's called. Just hit a bit of an invisible wall in the middle of that road. That must be what you talked about when you was driving stuff from the shop. In some places on the map, I noticed the road isn't quite smooth. It's like made of bits. It's a bit.
Or maybe it has to do with the trailer. I don't know.
It's a bit angular. Sell point that's actually that I don't have to climb up a mountain to get onto. £65,000 first harvest income.
It uses the same ramp stuff like the other.
Except for, yeah, the only difference is this guy's actually placed it on the ground as opposed to 50 feet in the air. So yeah, it's a little bit easier to get on the ramps on this map too. Round of applause to the map guy. I mean, I'm not saying that some of the ramps on the last map were a bit steep, but some of them were pretty much vertical. So yeah, like this bit here, the road doesn't really curve and bend. It's a bit angular, and I think the trailer might just catch on that in a couple of. I think that might be the problem. Rather than actually like curve and smooth the road, it's a bit pointy.
Did you notice that I'm using a female character?
I did notice that, yeah.
So we can pretend we are a couple having a farm. And when other players join us, they can be our children. Oh my god. Playing Dynasty.
Farmer's Dynasty. Obviously these ones are going to need lime and stuff on them when we come to plough those.
They probably need plowing as well.
Yeah. But we can stagger them. We can. Don't have to do them all at once. We've got plenty of fields. We can do get some fields seeded
We've got
first
plenty
before
of
coming and
pot.
ploughing these, and then some of the fields that are
Yeah.
seeded will then be ready for harvesting. And
Do you have the crop grows thing?
yeah, I'm using the same growth control settings as we was using on Greenwich Valley, so it will slow things down a little bit. Crops will take a little bit longer to grow, and they'll grow at different speeds. I like as well that the guy's gone and put some cows in the fields on the edge of the map to add decoration.
So but they're not moving.
Yeah, that's... yeah, they don't move. They're quite static.
They're not moving and not moving.
But they look nice from a
Or maybe
distance.
they are moving.
I'll run over there and check. Oh, there's some sheep too. That would be why they're not mooing, because they're actually sheep. Sheeps don't go moo. Not unless they're really confused sheep, anyway. But there are some cows, but yeah, unfortunately they're not animated. I suppose that's a bit too difficult to do.
Maybe it takes FPS.
It probably would take
other games
FPS.
have it. They're like whatever moving.
It's probably difficult to achieve, because even when you have animals on your own farm in your pens, they are only animated when you're actually up close to the pens, aren't they?
Like the waterfalls, when you're not looking, they're not falling.
They're not moving. Yeah, there's a waterfall up here, isn't there, somewhere?
If you look away, it stops. It's like the light in the refrigerator. When you close the door, the light is going off.
We're almost at the end of day 2 on the map. Another productive day, second productive day on the farm. First day obviously was getting everything set up. Now today we're doing some harvesting. We've done the grass, we'll have done the soybeans.
And the biggest work was the grass mowing.
Yeah. Okay, it's done. We'll have some digestate. We'll have some silage. So it's all good stuff. digest date. I'm ready.
We need to record some GPS course. Like this one is at 270 degrees.
I'll let you save the courses because your keyboard can do the little degree symbol, whereas mine can't, being a UK keyboard. We can't do the degree symbol with a UK keyboard.
Do you need to be perfectly aligned actually with the degrees, or doesn't it save odd degrees anyway?
Depends if you've got the what is it? Snap terrain angle on or off. If you've got snap terrain angle on, it will only save at like exact degrees. So if you have the snap terrain angle on, it will only save at like 0, 45, 90, etc. Whereas if you have snap terrain angle turned off, you can save at any weird and wonderful course angle. I personally never turn snap terrain angle off. I always leave it, and I always tend to work to 90 degrees, 180, 270, 45, 135, etc. As we found on county lines, there's usually only 1 or 2 directions that you need to have anyway.
Start recording is Alt-A, isn't it?
Yes.
Why doesn't it
Or
do it?
Alt-E. Alt-E.
Alt-E.
Alt-E should be start recording. Or it should put your A point. It's been a while since I've used GPS. I can't remember.
And then you have to press Alt-E again, right?
Yeah. I'll be honest, this whole pressing Alt-E thing confuses even me because I'm just so used to doing it on my controller. I can never remember what the actual keyboard buttons are for GPS. For me, I know it's left trigger, right trigger and X. That places me A point, and then left trigger, right trigger and X again places me B point.
So 190 degrees is saved, and I'll do the other one when I'm at the bottom of the field.
Still quite a bit left as well. I have nearly 2 trailer loads off of this field, which would be very nice. Nearly 130,000 in sold crop, sold soybeans. That'd be quite cool. Well on our way to being able to afford the second combine.
When I now enter the degree symbol with my keyboard, then it's activating the console at the same time.
So your degree symbol's mapped to the tilde key.
Yeah, so this with the shift, it press this. Almost finished.
Excellent. Well, fields 43 and 31 won't need harvesting for a little bit, so we've got plenty of time to get some of these other fields seeded and maybe get these ones ploughed and stuff again. Like I say, you're going to take a break after this, aren't you? And I'm going to take a bit of a break after we've done this field, because we've spent quite a bit of time today on this map. 3 hours and 40 minutes so far. And then I'll probably, although it's what, nearly 5 PM now, so by the time I've had my dinner and that, I might pop back on later on this evening to do some streaming of something else. I might do some more Tailored to Wastelands. And something a bit different. Just to play that for a bit. And chill out.
You mentioned that you are streaming TTW. What's this?
Tale of Two Wastelands.
What?
It's Tale of Two Wastelands. It's a mod for Fallout New Vegas.
Oh.
Which lets you play Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas in the same game as one continuous story. I'm currently doing the Fallout 3 stuff. I'm currently in the capital wasteland of Washington, running around there trying to find my dad, trying to find Liam Neeson. And there'll come a point where I find a train station and I can take the train and go to the California map and then run around on there too, doing all the quests and missions. Well, I'm currently doing a mission where I've got to try and find 30 Coca-Cola bottles to give to this lady. So I'm about to go into the factory where they were made and see if there's any in there. And there's bound to be something horrible and nasty waiting for me in there. Probably super mutants or something. And I'm still relatively low level, so There's a chance I might die a lot. But yeah, it's a completely different game from Farming Simulator. Completely different game. It's nice to have a complete and total...
I'm not sure. One version, Fallout, that I started, but I never completed or never even went into the game.
I've completed Fallout 3 and I've completed New Vegas. I've never finished Fallout 4. I think I've completed one of the old original ones, which was like the top-down isometric looking ones. But I don't know whether that was Fallout 1 or Fallout 2. I'll get out of your way so you can get that little bit. But I have gone back and played. I did start playing one of the really old ones again. The point and click type game. That was quite an experience. Like I say, I own the one that they released last year or the year before. The multiplayer one, and I've never ever played it. Never ever played it. It's installed on my computer, but I've never started it, never loaded it up. Because I don't want to play Fallout multiplayer. It's a single player game as far... To me, it'll always be a single player game, and I only want to play it single player. So until their multiplayer game gives you the option of running a private server, I won't play it. And tomorrow's a busy day for me because I've got loads of Fenton Forest stuff to record, and I've also got some Software Inc stuff I need to record because I've run out of videos. At some point I need to go back and also do some more videos for Jurassic Park because I've run out of videos for those. Trying to play so many games. I'm trying to play like 3 different games at the same time, and it's very difficult.
Indeed. Even for me, not making videos sometimes. What do I play next?
It should be a little bit easier for me this week because I haven't got so many appointments in the daytime. So tomorrow I've got my days free. Tuesday my days free. Wednesday's the only day where I have to go out because I've got to go and get my tooth fixed at the dentist. So Wednesday's the only day where I won't be able to play and record anything. Thursday and Friday then I should be able to record stuff again. So I should be able to... I should almost be back to normal this week with my playing and recording schedule. And then I don't know when my next holiday is. I don't know when I next get a break. Probably Christmas. So just over 1.5 trailers there. I'm at 60% full, so 1.5 trailers off those 2 fields. It's not bad.
I think if you do it, we can get more yield.
Yeah, once the fields have been ploughed and they've been limed and they've been fertilised properly, we will get more yield off them, definitely.
And properly fertilized.
Definitely. The first harvest you get on any map's always going to be a bit poor because none of the fields have been worked properly. Same way, the first time you buy a field off the AI farmers, the yield's rubbish because the AI farmers generally don't do a very good job, do they?
No, that's enough.
Another 36,000, so... What was that? 95? That's just over 100,000 then for the soybeans we've made today. Takes us up to 616,000 in the old bank account. For buying more machinery and equipment.
Have some money to work.
Some money to work with. There's Dodd 2020 saying yo yo yo.
Yeah, I guess another harvester would be good.
Oh no, I've done that thing again. No! Where I've managed to get myself wedged on a street sign. The road signs have collisions. The road signs have collisions. Warning. Button. I want to turn my beacons off. Still got my hazards on. I could turn them off now as well. Fold my covers back up. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way. Not how I wanted to get back to the farm, but I guess I'll go the scenic route. Helgi is left.
Right,
So.
Catch
Okay
you
then.
later.
Okay then, Mr. Helgi. Goodbye. Thank you for playing.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, map is nice. Not bad. So let's see how Stevie's map turns out. Maybe
Yeah.
he needs an up before we play it. He may have another update.
Yeah, I would certainly wait a week or two when his map comes out, because normally if I know
Yeah.
Stevie, he'll release
then-
about 6 updates for it that require you to start a new game. So,
Cheerio, me selfie.
cheerio. Bye bye for now. So yes, if you're very late to the stream, one of my favourite map makers, Mr. Stevie of Farming Sim Mods on Facebook, the guy who makes the terrific Fenton Forest map that I play on, will be releasing a new map in a couple of weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm not sure whether to look at that as a multiplayer map or whether to just do it as a single player, keep with the single player sort of aspect. Obviously I've been playing on the 4X version of Fenton Forest for a while now. I've done about, 64 videos. So I may look at maybe wrapping that series up at some point and then switch over to the new map. But I wouldn't do it straight away, right at the start, because usually with Stevie's maps, he generally has a couple of updates to them after they release, as he finds and fixes bugs and stuff. And generally with maps, every time there's a new version, you have to start a new save. Hey, it started to rain. We got that harvest done just in time then. Perfect timing for finishing the harvest, because it's just started to rain. And what I'll do is I'll probably finish up my Fenton Forest Let's Play. I've got harvest to come, I've got the summer and the harvest time to come on that map, the autumn. May get everything sold off in the winter. Hopefully at that point, maybe Stevie will have finished his map and I can move over to the new one. I'll also be going. I've said this before as well. I will be going back to the Lone Hope save that I was streaming before Christmas. I will be going back and carrying on with that a bit, and that will be done again as live streams, which will then get exported over to YouTube afterwards, after the events. Now, like I say, I'm going to try and play a couple of other different games, do some non-farming sim stuff here on Twitch as well this year. Like I say, I've already done one Tale of Two Wasteland stream. I may do another one this evening when I play it and have a few hours just playing stuff at random. So when we come back to this map next, there will be some digestate and cultivating to be done of some of these fields, and then get a couple of them seeded as well, at which point these fields down here will probably be ready for harvest, so we will need to do those, and then it's a case of just work away around the map then, bit of ploughing, bit of ploughing, bit of lime spreading, and generally just get the fields turned over again. Some of these grass fields, like I say, we may end up digging up and seeding normal crops on. So we'll give that a go. But for now, unfortunately, I've reached the end of the Farming Simulator stream. So I'm going to go take a bit of a break. I'm going to go get some dinner, and then I'll be back later on playing Tale of Two Wastelands again for an hour or two before bedtime. So if you want to come back and join me for that, you're more than welcome. I will look forward to seeing who's about then. Goodbye for now.